I'm not going to lie, I woke up with a wee bit of a heavy heart today. After all, I realised I was going to be spending about 6 hours or so recording and then editing my review for Starfleet Academy, Episode 3. Oh. But then I saw that Rachel Leishman from the Mary Sue had blocked me on social media after she'd seen my video about her seething over Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker. And I realized to myself, do you know what? Today's going to be a really good day. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Episodes 1 and 2 are in the books for Starfleet Academy. Let's just say the show's had a bit of a rough week on social media and in the press. People not that impressed with the show. But can episode 3 turn those frowns upside down? I really doubt it, but let's find out, shall we? So it starts off with Bully Boy doing a personal message, and he's telling his parents back home that he's applying himself as best possible. He's the last to go to bed. He's the first to rise up in the morning. And as you can see, he's exercising by using his space skipping rope. It's going to be a rough one, really, actually, isn't it? So he's doing lots of different exercises, really building up a sweat. Oh, those are his space headphones. You can tell they're glowing green. And he's like, that's a protein shake, I promise you. He's like getting his protein shakes down him. And it cuts to the rest of the guys. And they're all just like sleeping away in bed and stuff. And you think, oh, this might have actually meant something if it wasn't for the fact that all the male cadets are in really good shape. It's only the females that are fat blobs. So if it was the little princess girl with the weird eyebrows, if she was getting up doing all this and then it was cutting to the stupid fat blob that ate her comm badge, and then it was cutting to Precious, then it was cutting to the physical education teacher. Then it was cutting to the sign language teacher. Then it was cutting to the bridge crew member. All of those fat women in the show. Then it might have actually meant something. But the dudes have got to be in shape. But it's one rule for thee and another for me. And then he leaves to get a shower, I imagine, and bumps into the very person that I was talking about. And she's actually been up a little bit earlier and done a little bit more. She does speed and agility at one time, then she does power. She allegedly does power at another time. But this works. This does actually work. Now all we need is all the blobs to start coming out going, what time's breakfast? And then it would properly mean something. So after seeing 2 dedicated students that are in great shape that are looking to better themselves, we cut to this thing here, who's apparently taking the physical education classes. I always thought that you were meant to lead by example. Not so much. Show me you're worthy of this uniform. Well, at least they can fit into their uniforms. So because this show is really badly written and they can't manufacture any natural drama or butting of heads between the War College and Starfleet Cadets, which could be very easy. And if you want a good example of that straight away from Star Trek itself, look at Enterprise. Look what happened when the military were put onto the Enterprise to add that extra bit of firepower. And look how they butted heads with the regular crew because they come from 2 different ethoses. But here we can't have that gradual wearing down of the beliefs between these two different, and they are very different factions within Starfleet now. No, somebody had to throw a basketball, I think, at Caleb's head, which, if you've ever had a basketball hit you on the head, he took it like an absolute champ. And then, of course, they all start squaring up and puffing out their chests, and it's absolutely inorganic. This is an episode that should have happened 4, 5, 6 episodes down the line, when their two belief systems have sort of come to a breaking point. And then the Betazoid's brother, I don't know anybody's name in this show apart from Caleb. Because, number one, the show doesn't really care to tell you. And number two, I don't care to know. And he says to the Vulcan, which threw the ball at Caleb's face, "Oh, do you want our big Klingon here to come smack those eyebrows off your face?" What a humdinger, hey? Well, it then turns to the Klingon, Jaden. I remembered his name because it was fucking retarded. Jaden. Hi, I'm Jaden. I'm like a Klingon and stuff. And Jaden goes, because he's not a warrior. He's a little bitch. He's a little bitch that wants to go bird watching and mushkin diving on dudes. Also, this is the Klingon here. This is the back of the Klingon here. Now, all the dudes, the main dudes, they're pretty much the same height, give or take. But look at the back of Caleb. He's well more built than this Klingon here. Hey? Go back to your bird watching, you little bitch. You know, today's a good day to crochet a blanket. Never have I been so excited and then immediately disappointed by seeing some females in a dressing room. Sincerest apologies for the imagery. But why is there a hologram in the showers? Why is there a hologram in the changing rooms at all? Why is there a hologram participating in physical fitness when... And also, why does a hologram look like... They just don't care, do they? You know, no thought was put into any of this whatsoever. Yeah? Now, admittedly, this is a much better view. Suddenly, after they've started to have a co-ed conversation in the showers, they all start to be teleported out. I mean, how? How would you get teleported out? Are there teleporting emitters again? Everywhere, in every single bit, floor, ceiling, wall of this establishment? No. Have they got anything which will tag them? No. But of course, it's Hogwarts in space now. It's space magic. It's not sci-fi. You can just be yoinked or go wherever you want. It's absolute nonsense. It really is. So they're teleported all around the academy, which just so happens to be right next to each other. What a coinkydink. And even the hologram is teleported under the water where they struggle to breathe. The hologram, who was in the showers for some reason, getting changed for some reason, doing physical education for some reason, was teleported under the water where for some reason they couldn't breathe. Caleb is teleported into Tig Notaro's class where his towel falls off for all and sundry to see, and instead of covering his modesty, he just stands there like, yo, Tig Notaro, check out my penis. It's probably something you haven't seen in a very long time. And then it cuts to these two fuckwits here. One of them, of course, is a Vulcan. And they're just like, we did this because it is fun and we will continue to do this, which is a little bit illogical. In actual fact, it's very illogical. But why have a Vulcan displaying logic when you have retards writing a script. Star Trek modernity is what this should be called. This isn't Star Trek. I mean, we know that, but look, this is just a rip-off of Starship Troopers now. Do you want to be the best physical, mental, and spiritual? By the way, I do appreciate the way that they have Holly Hunter's character and fucking mental next to it. Is the voiceover too stupid? Says Holly Hunter's character. Yes. It is. Well, this is a potential candidate for thumbnail of the video. Anywho, so Femdom Hadar says to Holly Hunter's character, oh, we're going to have an all-out prank war starting if we're not careful, and the oversight committee's arriving soon. Oh, what a coincidence. And they say, and if they shenana once, they'll shenana again. And Holly Hunter's character says, oh, that's very good, number one. Now, this isn't a conversation which is happening between the commandant of the academy and their second in command. No, this is the writer congratulating themselves on a retarded line which doesn't fit into Star Trek at all, but they're so proud of it that they wanted to cram it into the show anyway and then pat them on the back for doing so. Because this isn't a serious show written by serious people. It's a bunch of fucking retards that are just fucking shit up. This whole scene is a goldmine for potential thumbnails. So Holly Hunter's character says to Femdom Hadar, what do you suggest we do? And they say, well, demand an apology and nip this in the bud as quickly as possible. And then the commandant of the academy says, it's not our job to resolve the students' problems. It absolutely is your fucking job, you dipshit! Fire her with immediate effect into the fucking sun with her bare feet. Oh, that's it. That's the, oh, absolute cinema. That is the thumbnail right there. Kid shit, she says. Oh, I'm used to teaching kid shit. This is the worst character in Star Trek. And that's saying something because there's a show called Starfleet Academy that has got a bunch of them in it. And yet somehow, this is the worst example of anybody in a position of authority in a chain of command that I have ever seen in a Star Trek show. The writers have managed to create characters so dumb and stupid that there isn't a single chance that the Borg would ever try to assimilate this fucking academy for fear that it would destroy the collective with copious amounts of retardation. So instead of being a responsible leader and addressing both her cadets and the war college cadets at the same time, saying this stops right now, and if it doesn't stop, then those responsible are out immediately. This is Starfleet Academy. This is the best of the best. You want to act like children, get out there into a playground. But it's not here. No. Of course she doesn't. She's touchy-feely, you know? It's, there's no repercussions. There's too much, there's mollycoddling. There's no discipline here. I mean, it's only Starfleet Academy. So she actually gives them a fungus plant to join in on the pranks to give to the war college. And it mimics back what they say. It starts like speaking like back, which is pretty much the dialogue of this whole show, mind you. So they're gonna grow a bunch of these plants, whatever. So it cuts to the next scene. And nothing is serious in this show. You hear a tannoy go off. I don't know if it's Stephen Colbert. I couldn't tell with, you know, all that dick he's got in his mouth. And it says, specialist such and such, your blah, blah, blah fur plant is trying to copulate with your beaker. We've fallen such a long way. Just think of the incredible episodes from the original series from TNG. You know, oh man, dude, imagine Sarek. You know, what a just what an emotional episode that was. What a great analogy for dementia, Alzheimer's. It was seeing this great man struggle. The acting from Patrick Stewart. Absolutely unbelievable. Such a moving episode. Really gets you there. And then just imagine that in 40 years' time, you've got a bunch of fucking retards in Star Trek talking about fungus fucking your beaker. Writing today is the lowest slop that it's ever been. And the contributing factor is that merit is no longer a viable system for a job. Christina Hodgson has just been given the writing duties for the Brave and the Bold Batman movie for the Gunverse, which is a pile of wank in itself. And she's had massive flop, Birds of Prey, even bigger flop, The Flash. So it's about failing uphill in Hollywood now. It's no longer about getting intelligent, smart writers creating excellent dialogue and fun, interesting stories. Nah, it's just, oh my godsies, did you see what we did see, poosy woozies? Oh my giddy bookies. Oh, I think I might just take a wee bit of a break. Come back to this when I don't want to throw my PC out the window. So it cuts to the little princess and they're in a botanist room or whatever. And they've been growing their plants. And she says, hey guys, are we ready to do this? And then the gay Klingon says, I refuse to participate in violence of any format. I have chosen the soy cuck beta hoch plach. And the princess pats him on the shoulders and goes, it's okay, you limp-wristed baby. We understand. And I'm just praying that Worf materializes out of nowhere, skewers him with his batleth, and then just goes, you bring shame upon the Klingon race, and then zaps back. Oh, that would be cool. But sadly, I don't think it's going to happen. Today's a good day to press flowers. So little princess is trying to get Caleb to come on board with all of this plan because nobody seems particularly interested. And he's like, yeah, I don't really want to get involved. And she says, I want to be captain. I got to be captain. And I need my best players on board. And then we take a look at the rest of the people. The gay Klingon nearly shits himself because somebody sneezes. Bully Boy is too interested in trying to finger X-Ray Girl. And Precious, well, she's too busy trying to eat the artificial soil because they're all retarded. So it then cuts to another physical education class, and Femdom Hadar is giving the rules of this new game. And apparently one of the first rules is to clear your mind completely. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem with these window lickers. And then Tig Notaro turns up to be another coach. Don't they have any teachers in this academy? Oh, wait. Judging by the IQ of the students, no, I actually don't think they do. So she explains all of the rules, and Precious puts her hand up and says, so basically it's a fun game of laser tag. You know laser tag from the 20th century. And Tig Notaro, who was born in 2215 or something, says, yeah, just like laser tag. Because, you know, modernity. Fuck yeah. Writers writing the only thing they fucking know. I just know for a fact that Disparu's going to be loving this. Because this is rapidly becoming Disparu's favorite character due to the fact, I think, that she's complete and utterly on a different plane to everybody else. Like, she's in a different show to Starfleet Academy. So they go into the simulation, and she just puts her arms up. Release the drones! It's just so comically caricature. It doesn't exist here. I'll let Disparu do the laughing. I just can't take this show seriously in the slightest because there's nothing to take serious because it's a fucking joke from start to finish. Wow, that is a face that only a mother could. Actually, I'll take that back immediately. Look, I'm running out of words to describe how absolutely horrendous this is. The drones come out, they're shooting their lasers all over the place. Now, there is explosions happening everywhere. And I'm just thinking to myself, so if one of the students was caught in one of the explosions, they dead? And then does somebody go, medic? Like Starship Troopers, because this is what this is a ripoff of, complete and utterly. And the hologram, I just want to reiterate that. The hologram is screaming and clutching onto environment for dear life. The hologram. There is nothing to take seriously in this pile of shit. This was a bad week to give up cocaine. Now, the goal is to get to the bell at the end and ring the bell. And the only thing that the show's getting right so far, which it's set up, is the fact that it's Little Princess and Bully Boy who are in competition with each other to get as many rings on the bell as possible. Meanwhile, the window lickers over there, well, that's a completely different story altogether. So Femdom Hadar gets a phaser pistol from, well, what's clearly the foyer of the academy, because there's a fucking tree behind her. And I'm just like, is she going to go on a spree, if you know what I mean? Because I'm, well, not low key. I'm high key, like the highest of high keys into that. You can do that. You would become my favorite character immediately. Start with Holly Hunter. You know, 2 in the chest, 1 in the pooter. Sadly, it just teleports you and it's used for the next round of the game. So if you get hit by it, you get teleported into the penalty box with Tasha Yar until the next round. Yes, that was an old school encounter at Farpoint reference. I thought you hated sports, says Little Princess to Caleb. I do, he says back, as his body's absolutely ripped to fuck, because clearly he does lots of exercise, plenty of weights, plenty of cardio, but we got to pretend that the guy that sculpted versus the fat bints on the other side, he's the one that doesn't like to do exercise. Really? Serious? Of course it's not. Seriously, it's fucking Starfleet Academy. So Caleb gets disqualified because he takes down a drone Okay, whatever. And then Precious, who's been running around like a headless chicken screaming, she gets cornered and they fire at her and it goes through her. Because you know that hologram? Well, it turns out that it's a hologram. Crazy, huh? So after the game, Caleb is walking with Gay Klingon and he sees the Betazoid slut. So he says, hey, can you just like distract everyone while I go speak to her? So he goes off to speak to her. And then some other people from the War College come along. And Jaden's just like, ugh. So he says, hello there. My name is Jaden. It means he who walks across oceans of fire. And I'm thinking, more like oceans have come. But okay, sure, whatever. Caleb is still apologizing for all the things that she did wrong in the last episode. So there's nothing of worth to see here. Because, of course, the woman who was so self-absorbed that she couldn't understand that Caleb didn't pour his heart out to her because he'd known her for 2 fucking minutes is too thick-headed to realize when it's her that made all the mistakes. Never mind, let's move it along. So we're back in the simulation again. But this time, Bully Boy is up against Little Princess. Whoever wins becomes the captain of the group. I thought Girl Boss is easy going to do this because it's, you know, predictable current day bollocks. And the first one to hit 8 targets wins. Boom, boom. They tie on number 1. They tie on number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. They're neck and neck. And then all Bully Boy does he nudge her out the way? Does he trip her up? Does he do something nefarious? No. All Bully Boy does is say to her, focus. Let those daddy issues come through. And she's like, what did you say, you piece of shit? Loses it completely because she's an over-emotional woman. And he just goes, bang, bang, 7-8, I win. Brains win out in the end. Brains. A nice, logical, rational brain will win out against an over-emotional one every day. So we legit come to something I really enjoyed. Honestly, hand on heart, I really enjoyed this next bit. You see, as they're taking Bully Boy around the academy celebrating, yeah, I'm your captain, the War College have stolen the footage from their simulation trainings, where they're all a bunch of fucking retards, and they've meshed it together to create the advert that we saw at the beginning. Strength, you know, blah, blah, blah. Strength, mental, you know, spiritual, fuck off. And they just cut it with the footage of these window lickers just being absolute buffoons. And it's hilarious for no other fact than it's actually stuff that happened. They didn't have to make anything up. They didn't have to doctor any footage to make them look bad. They just were terrible of their own volition. Woo! This episode is turning around, you know? It's turning around. Now, the worst commandant to ever grace the halls of a Starfleet Academy and a captain's chair is going to see the head of the War College now, because she is upset that they've acquired the security footage to make the cadets look like a laughingstock. Bearing in mind, of course, that she has already got involved with telling the students how to make these fungus plants that would just go and parrot back lines that you've just said. They haven't rematerialized, so I can only imagine they're probably going to turn up at the end as some sort of exclamation point to what's gone on. They tried to make the head of the War College look a bit weird because he really likes his tea and to make his cups of tea. I distinctly remember Jean-Luc Picard loving himself a cup of tea, Earl Grey, hot. And this is the woman, of course, who has no discipline. Nobody can look up to this woman because she's a clown. She doesn't exude any authority whatsoever. She disregards the rules flagrantly. She wears bare feet when she shouldn't. And she just lounges on other people's furniture and has no respect for their dwelling and their properties. And she's going to try and make the other guy look like he's in the wrong. But okay. Yeah, good luck with that. Serious question. Which member or members of the crew have the foot fetish? Because I can only imagine this is the only reason why such emphasis on her feet is constant now. That some weirdo freak has got a foot fetish. Oh yeah, and I'll shame. I'll fucking shame it. Oh, and by the way, she's now crying to the head of the War College about it's unfair to the students. Some of them came in cargo holds. They don't need reminders of tough times. Weren't you the one that just a little bit earlier in the episode said, I ain't getting involved in the pupil stuff. That's their own business. Huh? Strange, eh? Little princess starts being a little princess, hence her name, as she's getting all stroppy with Bully Boy because, according to her, he used her family business against her. He said you got daddy issues. Because A, you've got daddy issues, and B, you're a female. So there's probably a 99% chance you got fucking daddy issues. It's not using your business against you. It seriously looks like special needs Tron. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Kurtzman Trek in all of its magnificent glory. Little princess decides to put a little hissy fit behind her and join them to help out. And she says, teamwork makes the dream work. Because in the time that she was separated from the group, she went into a time machine back to the 21st century, very early doors, and then started to assimilate all of the 21st century's pop culture references. Then she got back into the time machine, went forward 1,300 fucking years, and then came out and went, teamwork makes the dream work. Modernity, fuck off! If the insane femdom Hadar is Disparu's favourite character, then this lass is rapidly becoming my favourite character. Number one, because she takes great pleasure in humiliating these bunch of retards. We're on the same page there, sweetheart. And number two, when the little princess is trying to defend their mascot, she couldn't hit a fucking barn door if she tried, even though we've just established earlier on that she's a sharpshooter, never mind. But this lass just rocks up right next to her. And you know what she says? Hey, princess. Ah! You know what you fucking... They know what she is. They know she's a little princess, and princess isn't a compliment, by the way. Boom! Princess ends up in the box. Ooh, do you know what? This is making a strong case for the thumbnail for this video as well. I haven't seen a more cowardly hologram since Rimmer in Red Dwarf. But at least Rimmer was meant to be funny. She's just a fucking joke. So the guy who's meant to be the only defender is once again leading the offense because, you know. So let me give you some context before I say what I'm going to say. The War College are 3-0 up. They're on match point because Bully Boy keeps going against his own fucking tactics. And Bully Boy gets disqualified because he punches out the Vulcan instead of shooting him and sending him to the penalty box. Now, does that mean that Bully Boy's species are stronger than Vulcans because it just took one punch to knock him out? If that's the case, then Bully Boy must be significantly stronger than Caleb, because Caleb's just human and Vulcans are 3 times stronger than humans. So if Caleb and Bully Boy ended up in a fight, then Bully Boy would kick the shit out of him. Anyway, that's all just by the by, because obviously we saw in episode 1, it was handbags at 10 paces. So, because Bully Boy is now disqualified, girl boss, little princess gets to take over. Whoa, I'm sure glad we found a way to get rid of that pesky man real quickly. And she's got new tactics. So she uses the stun guns to shoot the replicators, which then create a mist. How? Don't think about it. None of it makes sense. Why would a stun gun work on a replicator? Don't worry about it. So he says, what are you doing? Adhere to my tactics. And she says, I'm using different tactics because they can't shoot what they can't see. And then we have this image here. And this woman turns around and says, the fog's too thick. We can't see them. Sorry? I mean, I can see you. I can see the girl behind you. I can see the guy behind her. And I can see the fucking mascot at the back. So I'm pretty fucking sure you can see them. So only now do they decide to use the hologram. You know, the thing which couldn't be hit with the drones because it would just go through, because it's a hologram. Only now they use the hologram to distract the rest of the team, which allows them to easily take them out and take out their mascot, making it 3-1. Is it cheating? Well, absolutely. But, you know, they go, there's nothing in the rules. What? Nothing in the rules of having a photonic device that cannot be stunned? So in theory, you could just get the hologram to walk right across and shoot their hologram. You could have done that from the very fucking start. Oh. So Tweedledum and Tweedledumfucker just turn up out of nowhere. Tignataro says, why does this always happen on my watch? Probably because you're a useless twat. I mean, that's my guess anyway. I would love to tell you what's going on in this scene. The two groups get pulled apart. They have to go to their respective commandants. But I cannot understand a single fucking word coming out of her mouth. It's all just and acting like an absolute fucking retard. So, moving on. So they're given 35 hours of, I don't know, watching this show as punishment. And as they leave her office, oh, look, it's the plot device plants from earlier that talk back to what you're saying. I wonder if they're going to come into play as the exclamation. Oh, my goodness me. Of course they are. Bully Boy's trying to act like a victim. My compad doesn't seem to be working because I'm not getting any replies from Daddy, even though I'm sending him messages. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm sure it's fine. Oh, whatever. Get over it, you fucking hunk of shite. Oh, and just as Tignataro's talking to Bully Boy about, look, you know, teenagers having problems with their parents. Yeah, that's a new one. Femdom Hadar comes in and says, hey, we're lesbians. And Tignataro says, oh, you're absolutely right, kitten. We are lesbians. And she says, lesbian. And Tignataro goes, lesbian. Because they just decided in front of that pupil to make sure that he was fully aware that they're lesbians. Lesbians. Oh, sorry. My bad. They haven't stopped with being lesbians yet. So after Tig Notaro and Femdon Hadar have decided what they're going to have to eat tonight as a lesbian couple, Femdon Hadar goes. Tig Notaro then decides to address Bully Boy directly and says, do you know what? I'm a lesbian. And I used to be on a starship at the edge of time where I was a lesbian. But I left that starship where I was a lesbian to come here, where I'm a lesbian, so that I could be a lesbian couple with her. And that's what turning up for somebody means. And if I'm Bully Boy, I'm just like, what the fuck has that got to do with me and my dad? And Tig Notaro says, hey, in space, no one can hear you scissor. So the last scene started with Bully Boy wanting to find out why he wasn't getting any communications from his father, to only then discover that Tig Notaro and Femdom Hadar were scissoring with each other. And then Tig Notaro's advice to his father not communicating with him was to fuck the little princess chick. I'm so confused right now. I don't know if it's weird or based as fuck. My dad's not talking to me. Ever thought about fucking that pussy? Probably the most sensible thing Tig Notaro's ever said in her life. So they use more bullshit space magic to make and replicate a copy of the War College's Chancellor's eye so that they can break into his apartment. So when they're in his apartment, they use it to disable the security system, which allows the hologram to come in with tangible syringes, who then squirts them underneath all the doors of the War College pupils. And then Caleb reactivates the security. He's got 60 seconds to get out. He's running out, and his ironing board of a 12-year-old boy girlfriend, aka a Betazoid slut, recognizes it's him, maybe because he's 2 foot bigger than their regular mascot. Anyway, don't worry about that. I sense that it's you, Caleb. Can we stop and have a talk about our feelings? So he says, okay. I'm not like other Betazoid women, she says. I know, you got no ass, you're flat-chested, you look like a 12-year-old boy. I mean, you know Deanna Troi. That's, that's for absolute sure. Anyway, more blah, blah, blah. Feelings in space, don't give a fuck. I chose the War College instead of Starfleet because I wanted discipline. Oh! Well, actually, you're not wrong, because you'll never be taught discipline over at fucking Granny's Peach Tea fucktard land over there. And in the morning, the War College pupils wake up and I guess Little Shop of Horrors has manifested inside of their dormitory. I wonder how many of them were killed, got eaten by the plants. Come here, I want to eat you. Nobody cares. Oh, I guess there's one. So this is the part that we saw in the trailer where the Klingon was crossing his legs with his little matcha coffee going, oh, today's a good day to be a massive ho. Anyway, let's move on from here. So Holly Hunter comes out as obnoxious as ever. Oh, these plants are a protected species. You can't touch them. You can't mess with them. Well, what about the ones that are crushing the people against the windows currently? Do we just let them die? Oh, I guess so. And they need to maturate up to maturity. And the only way they can do that is if there's no stress around them. Sounds like a really fucking retarded thing, by the way. Just saying. So yes, I guess the War College aren't allowed to get stressed. Oh my goodness. Looks like the cadets have done one over on their counterparts. Ho ho ho. What a fun show it was. Fucking crap. It turns out that it was Holly Hunter's plan all along, and she was dropping them massive hints throughout the whole episode, and They were picking up on them, but they thought it was their own ideas. Oh my God. Holly Hunter, you're so like amazeballs. The show is an embarrassment. Not just to Star Trek. This is an embarrassment to fucking television. So the most inappropriate relationship in Starfleet continues. Oh, and by the way, this week, Caleb didn't seem to give a shit about his mum. Didn't ask about her, whether or not she'd found any further details. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. It was surplus to requirements. So this next bit makes no sense either. There's a bunch of jackets laid out. One of them's got a C on it for captain. Bully Boy's eyeing it up, but before he can touch it, little princess says, "That's mine." And he gives it to her. She puts it on. "I'm the captain now," she says. Well, that's not right. Now, I know that Bully Boy fucked up in the fight between the War College, but that was just you guys waggling your dicks at each other. That wasn't a sanctioned event. It was just you going tit for tat. Bully Boy was granted the rank of the class captain due to winning it in class under certain conditions. So he still should be captain. But I guess we're not bothering about that. No, it's just, I tell you what, I guess whoever's got the biggest vagina just wins it at the end. Yeah, probably. That's what we're going with now. And then they said, hey, let's end this episode on more blinding light because everything in this fucking hellhole is just a shiny mess. And that is the end of episode 3. And just another piece of a mitigated crap to enter into the annals of Kurtzman Trek. All I can say is, thank God I've got a week's rest until the next one. Until then, you take care. Goodbye, Belubu.